Hey guys, this is my recap of The Little Couple, Season 6, Episode 6, Ring the Bell, which is a significant phrase in this particular episode. And this is another half-hour episode. I don't know if the rest of the season is going to be a half hour or what, because we switched between an hour and a half hour. Now, this is going to be Jen's last day of chemo. So last episode, we saw the doctor talking about the numbers they're getting back from the lab and saying that they look really good and that Jen might more or less be in remission. And it was all confirmed, and so Jen has one last chemotherapy and then she will officially be ruled cancer-free. Jen talks about the fact that this particular going in this time into the hospital has been, she's dreaded it more. I think maybe just because she knows that she's almost there, she's getting the relief of being cancer-free, but she still has to go through the really hard part. So as Jen's getting her chemotherapy, Bill talks to her some about being more selfish, and that's the word he uses to describe thinking about herself first more, because she needs to really heal up and take care of herself. Now, they are going to celebrate the fact that this is the last of Jen's chemotherapy. So the nanny comes in. I'm sorry, I forgot her name again. Will and Zoe, Bill, everyone comes in. They've got cupcakes, they've got balloons and all of that. And it's just really a neat little scene. Now, they have Jen wants to travel for a simulation conference. So if you watch the show, you know that Jen is really into hospital simulation, where they use kind of, I would say, like skits, that's not quite the right word, and dummies and things like that to simulate really intense situations so that the personnel has an opportunity to kind of practice these situations, and then they can critique it afterwards. And it's a great way of training without necessarily having any patient in direct risk. Now, there is a national simulation conference coming up in just under 2 weeks, and Jen has been asked to not only attend, but to be a keynote speaker, and Jen really wants to go. So she's talking to her oncologist, and her oncologist kind of begrudgingly says it's okay. I mean, she definitely lays out the risks for Jen. She says, normally we would tell people not to travel for 4 to 6 weeks. You really need to be resting, but on the other hand, we want you to be active. We don't want you to be at home sulking or feeling sorry for yourself. And then Jen's kind of proven she's going to do whatever she wants anyway. So the oncologist kind of agrees, but was not thrilled. Now, after the hospital has a tradition that after chemotherapy is done, that the patient gets to ring a bell. And I'm going to get all emotional like I did when I was watching. But anyway, Jen's there with some doctors and some nurses who had been really instrumental in her treatment, and she has this bell that she rings to signify that she's in remission. So anyway, I think it was a really great episode, and it was obviously very heart-touching for me, because it's so seldom that we get to watch a reality show and we get to see anything real. We get to see anything that's like life and death. And so I think it really shows the power of a reality show when you're really genuinely touched and affected by what's going on. Anyway, that's the episode.